Hello, everyone, and welcome to my this is Assetto Corsa Competizione, but I'm playing career mode. Now, I've played a little bit of career mode, but I haven't had much success with it. So I decided to maybe just choose my first car, decide to test out the Aston Martin. And now we have to create our team. I just kind of joked around with this part. I didn't take it too seriously. This is going to be my first time recording an actual race for career mode. So I figured it'd be a fun little series to do on the channel and see how far we could take it. No, maybe this be a weekly thing. You guys get an update in the race and stuff. Look at these horrible names I came up with. But yeah. One thing I also would like to mention is this entire I play Assetto Corsa on a controller. So all gameplay, all footage that's taking on an Xbox One S with the standard Xbox One S controller. And people say this game does get very hard. Well, it is in general very hard for all of those that use controller. And it really is when you first start off, but of course, as you get used to it, it becomes easier here. Like, I've been playing since like day 3 of this game came out, and just look how smooth it is on controller. Now, this is just qualifying 1. I decided to only show you guys race 1 and qualifying 1. There are 2 qualifyings and 2 races for every time you go to a track. So that's kind of fun. Maybe next week I'll show you, qualifying 2 and race 2. But here we're just setting a decent lap time as we actually almost run off the track there. And hopefully our qualifying time is good as we skip forward to the actual race, and we're starting P1 right next to the green Lamborghini, and we're ready to go. So you come into corner 1. Now you may or may not have noticed that I have not significantly, but I have underfueled the car. I think just a little bit. Each race is about 20 minutes, so I put about 12 to 13 laps of fuel in the car. I may have to fuel save near the end of the race just to, make sure I make it. Also, you may have also noticed, I say also a lot, sorry. But you may have noticed that tire temperature, brake temperature, all that stuff is actually turned on. So tire wear, fuel usage, everything is basically on as if I were driving the real car. So now this is just lap 1. As you can see, the advantage of having just a little bit less fuel in the car is you can just kind of pull away while everyone has a full tank. You're also like twice as light. Well, not twice as light, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you're missing like less than 40 pounds of fuel, or 20, whatever. And we actually make a pretty big gap here between me and the Lamborghini. And so now you also have to do a mandatory pit stop in each race, and you have to do it within a certain pit window, which I believe is about 5 minutes at the middle of the race at around the 12 point mark. And as you can see, I decided to not go in as soon as it opened. Maybe get just a little bit more time and increase that gap, which hopefully will help. And you also see we're about almost halfway to the race. We got about 9 laps of fuel, which I think may hopefully be enough. But who knows? We may have to end up fuel saving later in the race. And I think we can handle that as we completely nail the braking points. And just look how easily I take these 2 chicanes. You can really very easily get good on controller in this game. The only real problem you would have is, running off like that, or, if you look down at my tire temperature, you'll notice that the left front is just slightly hotter than everything else, and that's because of small corrections and stuff, etc. Well, we actually have a pretty decent gap here between me and the cars behind me. That's about a 7-second gap. So we're now going to come shoot into the pits, and hopefully we can maybe make up some time. I don't want to get held up in there. As we barely make it into the pits, we almost slam it into the wall. Now, I haven't had very much success with pit stops in this game, so I was really hoping this would go well. As we kind of enter a little bit slowly, giving everyone... I don't want to end up breaking the speed limit of the pits, etc. But while we're in the pits, we are required to change tires, not suspension and stuff like that. So, and do remember, this does save time, so there's no point in changing suspension. We've been on the suspension for like 10 minutes, well, less than that. And so basically we're just changing tires, and hopefully we can come out in front of everyone. And now, because we are, well, I did put a little bit less fuel in the car than I think I actually would need. We're just going to change the engine map to, I think it is 3 I put it at? Yeah, 3. And hopefully save some fuel so at the end of the race we can push if we need to. And we're waiting for it, and we're out of the pits. Come on, you got to get out. Yes, 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 get up to speed. Now everyone's still doing their stop. We're still in P1 hopefully when we come out. As we come out, about to turn the corner, just gun it, don't even let him get close to you. Almost send it into the wall in the pits. Now this Lamborghini really, right here, really wants to fight me for that position, and I just have to pull away as fast as I can, while also being on fresh tires that I'm surprised they're actually warmed up already, which is kind of nice. But now we have about 8 minutes to go. We don't have to run far. Just stay in front of the Lamborghini and everything will be good. Now we skip to about the last 5 minutes of the race, where we can see the Lamborghini is still behind me on the mini-map, just closing in slightly maybe. And at this point we have about 7 laps of fuel in the car, which is very good at this point in the race. In case anything happens, there's a yellow flag or anything in the race, I have extra fuel. I wouldn't have to pit or anything, and it's not too extra to where it'd be slowing me down tremendously. But as you can see, I do see this Lamborghini behind me, and I see he's going to come up and catch up to me eventually. But right now I don't want to run away from him. I just want to keep him at bay, and hopefully just keep on surviving till the end. And I am on controller, so it is kind of controller versus wheel, who's going to last longer without making a mistake. Which at the end of the day will probably end up being me, because of course I have nowhere near as much experience as I'd like to have with this game. So we come down to the final corners, just take it easy, leave it in second gear, save a little bit more fuel in case I need it later on. And we're just hitting these chicanes spot on. Well, not chicanes, just the apexes. Come down to the final corner. It's kind of this weird corner that leans into this, but you also don't want to run too deep into that first little part of it, because then the second part kind of leads out and onto the straightaway. So we actually set a somewhat decent lap time, I guess. And you can kind of see on controller how smooth I am getting. If you watch the first few videos about me playing Assetto Corsa Competizione, you'll notice that I'm not very smooth. As I'm talking about being smooth, I almost get a penalty for going over the track limits. What a coincidence, am I right? And so we're not pulling away from the Lamborghini, we're just keeping it at his bay. And I think he's actually closing in, looking at the mini-map, as we completely miss our braking point, and I completely missed that board. I was looking somewhere else. And the Lamborghini actually gets the move done pretty easily. So now this is where that extra little tank of gas that we have comes in handy, because now we can push easily. We don't have to worry about too much. We can push as much as we want to, which I'm going to try here. It's probably going to lead down to who makes a mistake first, as I said before. As we're coming down to the final set of the corners, I just tried to alternate braking, and we actually make up some time there. And out of the corner, he just zooms away in that little green Lamborghini. So hopefully he won't get too far away before we can get up to him. We nail the braking point, missed the first apex, but lined it up with the second. And onto the front straightaway now, which I think can technically be considered the back straightaway. I tried to turn the engine map down back to 1, but kind of failed at that. So now, come on, we just got to push a little bit harder as we're meeting the edge of the track and stuff. As you can see, I'm just lining up my braking points perfectly on controller now. We're just trying to get the most out of this Aston Martin as I can, all 12 pistons. We got to put them to great use. Show that Aston Martin can win. The number 69 is the number they will remember. So we nail it on the braking point, turn in, hit the apex, almost spin the tires a little bit, but overall we stay planted. After this lap, we'll probably have one more left. As we're slowly closing in into the braking point, we get so much room in. And just look at how much time we've made up in that little section. But of course, in the straightaways, he can just pull away as we nearly fall off the track. We are pushing it to the limits here. So we nearly send it into the back, doing as much late braking as we can. Down into first gear, utilize as much as the track as we can. Just trying to make this as fast as possible. We're sitting in the slipstream, just nailing the braking points. Boom, the first chicane. We're right on the back of the Lamborghini as we come down to the front stretch. Now we have one more lap after this. Can we get the move done? Can we take our first win in Assetto Corsa Competizione? As we come down to the first corner, he pulls away. I try as best as I can, let third gear hit, shift down to second, come into the corner, meet the apex nicely. Now that little 3-point turn is done. Shift into fourth, once after that little break in the grass to turn to asphalt. And then we just gun it into this little corner section. And now we're on the back stretch, just trying my best to make up as much time as I possibly can. We nail the braking point. Shift down to second, use a little bit too much curb, but we're still within range to get the move done. Can we get the move done? We have to try. Come down to the final sets of corners, well, the middle of the track now. Shift down to first, utilizing as much as I can. We have the fuel to do it. We have 3 laps remaining, easily enough to burn through. As I'm just pushing it as hard as I can, traction control, managing it myself, everything. Now as we come down to the second to last corners, and the Lamborghini unfortunately is just keep pulling away. I don't know what he's been on, but it must be good if I'm doing all of this and he's just pulling away like it's nothing. Now unfortunately we're going to have to settle with a second place for our first race in Assetto Corsa Competizione career mode. Thank you all for watching. I hope you subscribe. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.